Hi, welcome to REP's Adult Education Spring Volunteer Orientation. My name is Sonia Martin. I am the Adult Education Coordinator at REP. A little bit about myself. I heard about REP through a group email. I was at the time helping second graders, and which was fine, but I knew there was something else out there that I needed to be doing. So when I heard about REP, I said, you know what, that's it. So I started volunteering at REP in 2018. I started out as an assistant and then went on to teach a class, the in between the beginner and intermediate class. So back then, I left REP. I had a great time, but I knew that there was more that I could be doing for English language learners. So I wanted to learn how to properly do that. So I actually left REP in 2020 to get certified to teach English as a second language through the University of Memphis. So I worked a little bit after that, and then the position for a coordinator became available at REP, and I quickly jumped to it. So I've been on staff at REP since February of last year, and there's plenty going on with adult education. So I'm going to go ahead and start showing the slides. I'll have to share my screen here. Okay, so here we have, we'll move on to introductions. I already told you who I am. So who is on REP's adult education team? Me and you. We run entirely off of volunteers, so you play a major role in our adult education department. So I know that with this being through Zoom, I won't get a chance to meet you right now, but I'm looking forward to meeting you in person as you come in to volunteer in the classroom. So in this slideshow, it will give you an overview of REP, REP's volunteer programs, exploring your role, and open discussion time. Okay, so who is REP? REP exists to serve the refugee community of Memphis, Tennessee, with the ultimate goal being empowerment. The mission of REP is to empower refugees and immigrants in Memphis, Tennessee by offering high quality, tailored programming that encourages, educates, and equips individuals, families, and the community. We at REP walk alongside our new neighbors as they integrate into American culture and work to achieve their personal and professional goals. In 2002, Ruth Lomo came to the United Methodist Neighborhood Center, where Cam Eccles Blackman worked in social services. She asked for space to help a handful of children with homework, and the program began to grow from there. In 2007, we became an operational ministry of Memphis Leadership Foundation and have numerous community partnerships. We have educational support for youth, such as after-school homework help, summer enrichment, and specialized tutoring. We also have support for youth in general for their lives through informal counseling, emergency response, and family and community support. Then we have Well, I did not mention before, but the vision is a united, prosperous, and well-acclimated newcomer community who have achieved self-actualization and creating new homes away from home in Memphis, Tennessee. Our ultimate goal is to be run by and for refugees and immigrants themselves. So, which leads us, there's also with the programming at REP, there's support for adults and families. That's where adult education comes into play with the levels of ESOL class or English to speakers of other languages. We have 2 levels, there's beginner and intermediate. Somewhere in the future, we will have advanced level courses, but right now we have beginner and intermediate. We also have citizenship preparedness support where we help students prepare to take their citizenship exam. And something new that was added was college support. We help our college students navigate college life. Right now there's tutoring. Students come in to get help with their studies. Now I'm going to share a quick YouTube video. Okay, it's here somewhere.
When we came here, all this is new to us. We don't really know the use of the refrigerator. We didn't know how to start a stove, all those kind of challenges. I saw a need in the refugee community and also in my own family. I decided to start after-school program because my children were behind in education, and when they came here, they were placed in grade according to their age, not skill level. And there was this challenge of helping them with their homework. We came from where we don't have, and then now we came here with a lot that most of us do not know where to ask and how to ask and what we need to look for. I didn't believe that kids who have seen came here when they're 15 years old and they started learning the alphabets and they cannot even write their names, now speaking English fluently, and they're also able to do their own homework. The life we went through as refugees, being displaced from one country to another because of the wars, and even displaced in your own country. We hope that the life we went through, born in war, raised in war, we hope our children can get a better life than us.
It was difficult for me. Someday, God was sending to me Meredith. She was come to my house with her parents.
When we walked in the front door, the only English that their family spoke was welcome and God bless you. Well, the first couple of years of meeting their family was a lot of survival skills. So it was a lot of learning how to do things and navigating the city and learning to live in America.
She was come to help me for everything. I was not know how to go to shopping, and I was not how to go to see my doctor.
Their resilience and their strength is beautiful to me, and it inspires me. I would not be who I am without this experience. Meeting them 7 years ago is one of the most impactful things for me, and just learning, just expanding my idea of love and loving across cultures. She gives so much to me, and her love and her care for me makes a big difference in my life.
try to find a better place. We try to find a better place for opportunities for ourselves, and that's how we applied for a visa to the United States. And I came on staff in 2009, and since then I have been the community outreach specialist for Refugee Empowerment Program. We offer an after-school program for the refugee students. We also offer English as a second language in 3 levels for the adults. Most refugees who come to this country come with sometimes little or no education at all. The hope of a parent, any refugee parent who come to this country, is a better education for the children. So we come and become the support for that family. The successes we have seen in our program is how many children are going to college. And we have over 22 students who are going to graduate, and among those, those 22 have at least 18. We know for sure they're going to college, and we know they're going to be able to make it in college.
Okay. So that was a little sum of REPs, how REP got started, and its mission. Okay. I want to get back to the PowerPoint. Let's see. Who are refugees? We will begin today with a brief discussion of who refugees are. Refugees face persecution due to race, religion, nationality, social group, or political opinion. A refugee is someone outside their native country who cannot return safely. 99% of refugees eventually return or integrate into their host communities. Less than 1% are allowed to resettle in a third country, such as the US. The UNHCR, or United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, officially designates refugees, and the executive and legislative branches of the US government work together to decide which and how many can resettle in the US. World Relief resettles refugees who arrive in Memphis. REP provides supplementary community-based services. How do refugees arrive in Memphis? Okay, so here we have the refugee journey. The refugees flee their country of origin to a relatively safe neighboring country or refugee camp. They then apply as a refugee, and the UNHCR determines the best durable solution for each refugee family. Then submit referrals to the US or other eligible countries for potential resettlement. Then there's a wait for the application to be processed and for referrals to be submitted. The average wait time is 7 years. Refugee families undergo RSC interviews and United States Citizenship Immigration Service interviews to demonstrate the applicant qualifies as a refugee. Extensive background checks are conducted. Applications are then approved or denied, and refugee families must complete medical examinations. Referrals are approved for resettlement. Refugees receive cultural orientation and language training based on their resettlement location. And then approved families then travel to the United States and are greeted by the local RST office. In the United States, they will find a job, learn English, and integrate into the local community. We mentioned World Relief. It was in a slide beforehand. World Relief is a local resettlement agency who provides initial support for resettled refugees. And then when refugees are here, they have to repay their airfare and travel loans. Most receive support from the resettlement agencies for about 3 months. So after talking about the journey of refugees, we have here REP's values. REP's values start with it's a community-centered leadership. We were started by the refugee community, and they remain central to our decision-making processes. All REP expansions have been at the request of the community itself. Empowerment. REP is one of our, well, the biggest REP, the values is empowerment ultimately. And the things that contribute to that is education, encouragement, and opportunity. So us as adult education volunteers, we try to, in any way we can, give encouragement. In addition to teaching that lesson, we try to be positive and just patient with our learners and our college students. So it's also a safe environment to learn. We welcome adult learners of all levels from all places to learn in our classrooms. Not only is it a safe place to be, but it's a safe place to be unsure of the correct answer. And that's a biggie. They're not children. Adults they already know other languages. And some know at least 2 or 3 other languages in addition to learning English. And as an adult, you tend to have inhibitions. Add on top of that their experiences from the countries that they've come from and the events that have happened that have brought them here. So we have students who don't want to speak because it's not perfect, but I always encourage our learners, hey, we're here to practice, we're here to learn. It's a constant process. It's over time. It's a lifetime process. So I tell the students that it's fine. It's a safe place to be unsure of a correct answer. That's when you know you're learning, when you're making mistakes. So. REP's mantra: a leader is best when people barely know that she exists. Not so good when people obey and acclaim her. Worst when they despise her. Fail to honor people, they fail to honor you. But of a good leader who talks little, when her work is done, her aims fulfilled, they will all say, we did this ourselves. And that's a direct quote from Lao Tzu. Who does REP serve? REP serves all interested refugees and immigrants in the greater Memphis area. The majority of participants live within walking distance. Although REP still provides transportation to and from programming, living within a certain distance from REP. Many were born outside the US, but even those born here face the same bicultural pressures as their older siblings parents, and fellow community members. The majority here at REP is youth under 18. Although most of our participants are youth, we serve all ages through multiple diverse programs. Thinking cross-culturally. What is cultural? Here we have the cultural iceberg. What is cultural competence? It is a set of skills and values of various cultures and ethnic groups you may come in contact with. It's understanding the complex needs of people. As told by Albert Einstein, talking about inspiration, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. Can easily become a memorized list of stereotypes, different cultures. Over to the right is the cultural iceberg that I mentioned before. It has core values, attitudes, behaviors, and practices. So with the core values, it's learned ideas of what is considered good or bad, desirable or undesirable, acceptable or unacceptable. Attitudes, behaviors, and practices. On the outside, I don't know if you see, but there's religion, history, the media, educational systems, family, and economics. Those are institutions of influence on cultures. Okay, so here we have adult education. What is adult education? It's evolving. It's evolving ESOL and enrichment programming, including survival English, literacy, citizenship preparedness, and college support. Who do we serve in the adult education department? Refugees and immigrants, adults ages 18 and above. The adult education department is actually it is located at 258 North Merton Street. We have, the programming is Monday through Wednesday. We have classes from 10 o'clock to 11:30 and 5:30 to 7. The college support, it varies depending on the student's needs. So right now we have the college students they're scheduled for tutoring. They come in for tutoring right now. That'll begin in a couple of weeks, but they come in around the same time as when the classes are going on. So they come in 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock or 5 to 7. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they come in addition to those times, they come in 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So there's no morning class right now on Thursdays, but there is a citizenship prep, which happens Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 7. Okay, so here we have, why did adult education become about? Parents requested educational support for themselves so that they can acclimate to American life, advocate for themselves and their children, and secure sustainable employment. Here we have REP's other programs at a glance. Like I mentioned before, there's so many different things that REP offers to the refugee immigrant community. These are the other programs. And let's see, we have STARS Elementary for the elementary age children. Then we have RISE for the middle schoolers, Dream Keepers for high schoolers. We have REP Entrepreneurs for 6th to 12th grades, Cultural Navigation and Integration Support, and Advocacy. So here is the school year 2022 through 2023 for adult education. Like I mentioned before, right now we have 2 levels of ESOL instruction, which is the beginner and intermediate class. They're small classes with big successes. The small classes, they average 5 to 6 students in the class right now, and it gives a more intimate feel for the students. And I think that's a great thing. They tend to do better when it's a smaller group. So that's where we are right now with the classes, the class size. We also have citizenship readiness, which is a weekly class, and it also involves individual tutoring. So I have tutors that come in, at least 2 that come in, and they use different forms of studying with the students. There's different components to the citizenship exam, such as the reading, the speaking, the writing. There's also the test itself, which is 100 questions. So, and there's different things that the tutors come in and use in addition to a short lesson. There's also flashcards that are used. There's also the actual questions. So, so that's what citizenship readiness consists of. And again, there's also college support tutoring, which is one-on-one. The college students come in and get one-on-one support with a tutor. So for the spring, we have, these are some things that I already mentioned. The one that will possibly change the days and times will be the college support. I will keep you all posted on that. But right now we're following the schedule as the fall. But as students send in their requests for tutoring, that's when I'll know more about when we need tutors and where. So that's on an as needed basis. And that's what that means at the bottom about the class schedule might change depending on student demand and instructor availability. We do have a nursery, but it is not, it only goes on if we have students that need it. Right now, it is not something that we're using, but we will use it as like it was mentioned before, we go by what the community needs. So if we have learners that have small children up until, let's see, infants and toddlers, then we can use the nursery that's offered while the parents are taking classes. Expectations of volunteers and students. Be consistent. Come every day. Come for your volunteer shift. Try, if you're not sick as a volunteer, if you're not sick, or try not to show up. Our students are forming relationships with you. They like familiarity. They like to see it builds a good rapport with them. So I ask that the volunteers be consistent and not just not show or cancel very last minute if there's no emergency or something like that. So I know there's unexpected things, but we just try to be consistent. I also ask of the students to be consistent. The more you come, the more consistent you are, the more you learn. So that's very important. Be engaged as a volunteer. When I say be engaged, listen to your students. Meet them where they are. That we have awesome students that come from different places, different backgrounds, different experiences. They're exceptional. So be engaged in their learning. See what it is that they're strong at, see what it is that maybe they can improve on. So those are some things, some ways of being engaged. Be a learner and a teacher. A learner learning, as they go hand in hand, being a learner and a teacher. You can't teach if you're not learning how to teach, or if you're not learning about the student, like I mentioned before, about their pros and cons, about their strengths and their weaknesses. So be a learner, be open to tips. I often give tips on how to hold a better class, or give tips on what worked in this class. And I'm encouraging that with you all as well. If you saw something that worked in the classroom, if you could pass that information along to me, we can share it with everybody. So, okay, nurture self-sufficiency. Our classroom, the students, they come in and they like the community. They like the togetherness. I try to have, the way I see it is nurture self-sufficiency is, for instance, having those students speak up for themselves, having those students show what they know. They know more than what they think they do. I try to incorporate activities in the classroom, and some are in pairs, some are in little small groups. So we want to nurture self-sufficiency. Be patient, flexible, and reflective. Be patient, be patient, be patient. It is hard, as being a native English speaker, and to want the students to learn as much as they can within that hour and a half, but it's also okay to have those awkward silences. I struggle with that starting out, the awkward silences, but when you look out at the students, you can see that their wheels are turning. And if you just take a pause, an extra pause after that pause, and just be patient and let the student work through. And that's where encouragement comes into play as well. Be flexible and reflective. Communicate with the staff. I'm always available. Okay, I'm only human. If I'm not available, there's also staff that's available downstairs as well. So I always encourage to keep open lines of communication. Things that we don't want to do not exchange contact information. Do not show favoritism. Do not give gifts. Do not advance personal agendas. Excuse yourself before checking or using your phone. And here are tips for effective support. Be patient and positive. Find multiple ways to convey the same idea. And that's over to your right. There's visual learners, there's auditory learners with listening, there's kinesthetic with actual hands-on learners, and there's reading and writing. So you want to find multiple ways to convey the same idea. You may have one student who's okay with listening to what you're saying, but we do have pre-literate learners as well who do better also with a visual, maybe with the visual and the words. So find multiple ways to convey the same idea. I have material in my office, so always ask. There's also other resources as well. I'd be happy to share that with you. Get to know the students. Like I said, they're very they're a great group. So get to know them. Ask for help when you need it. Embrace silence as thinking time. I think I already said that. Embrace that silence. And remember, the English language is a difficult one. Thank Thank you so much for giving me your time and energy for this training. I'm so excited to be working with you. Know that the staff is always here to answer any questions and address any concerns. I am going to stop sharing. Okay, so normally at this point, we have a short training which consists of on how to teach a class. I have a volunteer who has helped tremendously with the curriculum for the adult education department, and she has done a great job with providing lessons. I will be more than happy to have you come in and observe a class before you actually instruct one. Let me know when you would like to come in and observe a class. You can actually help out, be the assistant for that day. So, and at that time, I'll be able to talk to you more, walk you through it on how to conduct a class, a lesson. Our books are the Ventures books. They give you the lesson on how to teach it anyway, that lesson. So it gives you word for word, but again, we can go through that together. So it was nice meeting you. Looking forward to meeting you. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you.